everyone. My name is Justin Starr, and I'm the Endowed Professor of Advanced Technology at the Community College of Allegheny County. We're located in Pittsburgh, and we've been a proud participant in several National Science Foundation programs. In particular, CCAC has a strong record in the Advanced Technological Education program. I'm PI, or Principal Investigator, on a number of CCAC programs, and so I wanted to take a few minutes to tell you about our journey through NSF, some of the lessons we've learned, and ways in which you might be able to get started. I know when I was a new faculty member, figuring out how to get involved seemed like an insurmountable barrier, and anything I can do to make it easier for others to participate is something I feel very passionately about. So the Advanced Technological Education program is perfect for community colleges, and I teach in advanced manufacturing, robotics, and mechatronics. So when we're making programs that are adjacent to the skilled trades or preparing students for careers, we're often in an interesting place as a community college where we'll see certain needs in the workforce, and our goal as a community college is to be responsive to those needs. So in Pittsburgh, for example, one thing that we've seen firsthand from some of our advisory board meetings and industry partners is this growth in the robotics ecosystem. And in particular, we've seen a tremendous amount of growth in not just traditional industrial robots, but collaborative robots, right? Robots that don't need a work cell, robots that students can program interactively with a teach pendant, robots that could be operating alongside someone on a production line in a safe environment, right? Collaborative robots have really accelerated in their adoption in the past 5 years, and in the Pittsburgh metropolitan area, we see dozens of these being installed on a monthly basis. So the question becomes, how can you make a program that prepares your students for this cutting-edge technology? And this is where NSF programs can help your institution jumpstart that process, right? The ability to rapidly create a new program that might have high capital requirements, like collaborative robots, can be something difficult to do through organic fundraising measures. By participating in an NSF program, you can get a 3-year roadmap to get a program up and running, off the ground, and generate valuable data about how that program should continue on in the future. CCAC has used this to overhaul our mechatronics and advanced manufacturing program. We've used it to create unique online resources so students in rural locations can log into our equipment remotely. And we've worked with other community colleges to create regional standards for apprenticeship programs. If you have an idea, there's a good chance that there's an NSF program that can support your college making that into a reality. One of the biggest challenges with NSF programs is figuring out how to get started, right? And once you've worked with NSF for a while and you've written a few grants, it becomes much more achievable, right? Because you know exactly what you need to do. But if your institution is new to the process and you log on and see the program specification and the application packet, and it's just you in a blank Word document, it can be really challenging to figure out exactly how to get started, because the last thing you want to do is spend hours working on a grant application that ultimately ends up being unsuccessful. One of the biggest pieces of advice that I'd like to offer anyone watching this webcast is that participants in NSF programs are some of the most open and collaborative people I've ever encountered in academia. If you have an idea and you're thinking, I'm not sure how to get started, reach out to individuals involved in NSF at partner community colleges. Email myself, and we'd like to take time out of our day to help you take those next steps. If there's a way CCAC can partner with you on a proposal, if we could work you in as a sub-award to something we're doing, or we can even just bounce around ideas and maybe explain some of the lessons we've learned the hard way, that's something we're all more than happy to do. NSF also has programs that are designed to boost participation for new institutions. The NSF Mentor Connect program can take a PI who hasn't yet participated in an NSF program, pair them with an experienced grant writer, and really give them a mentor that can hold their hand and shepherd them throughout the entire grant writing process and really increase chances of a successful application package. Other groups, like the Center for Occupational Research and Development, have workshops like Grant Seekers Academy, where they'll pay for a PI and a representative from a grants office to fly down to a workshop, cover all travel costs, and really have an intensive 2-day program where you can write and workshop an idea, go through a mock review panel, and get iterative suggestions so that when you finally do submit your proposal, it's not something you had to create yourself. You really had a team of talented professionals assisting and collaborating throughout the process. I like to think of participating with NSF as being part of a community of practice. Anything you're doing, you're not doing alone. There's an army of talented educators and administrators that will do anything they can to help facilitate your own journey. I'd like to talk about some more specific programs, but to do that, I need to move to some other pieces of equipment that are more representative. This room is really exciting because this equipment shows kind of the hidden side to technical education. So those of us who are working in fields like advanced manufacturing know just how challenging it can be to fill vacancies in the workplace. Our employer partners constantly report that there are dozens or hundreds of vacancies in the Pittsburgh region alone for jobs in advanced manufacturing, and we just aren't churning out enough graduates. Historically, community colleges and universities have also not done enough to improve the diversity of the workforce. NSF is a great way to create programs that not only give students the technical competency to fill these current vacancies in the workforce, but also to work on truly filling that skills gap and even bridging an equity divide. And one thing that we've been successful at CCAC is using NSF programs to extend our pipeline to students we normally don't encounter. That means performing STEM outreach activities at high school or even middle school levels. And the equipment in this room is a testament to that. So while many times NSF programs can be used to build new programs with large pieces of capital equipment, this room contains portable pieces of equipment. Things like mechatronics trainers that fit into a suitcase, or portable PLC systems that are in rugged Pelican cases. The beauty of these systems is that they can easily be transported to K-12 institutions. So CCAC currently works with a number of local partners in middle and high schools where we'll let them check out pieces of high-tech equipment that they otherwise wouldn't be able to afford, run programming in the classroom, sometimes in collaboration with CCAC faculty, and really get students in middle and high school interested in advanced manufacturing, right? It's a tall order to ask local school districts to fund this programming themselves, especially when not all of them may not have the tax base to support these efforts. Any way the college is able to provide this equipment at no cost is a way to reach out to students, particularly those in disadvantaged groups who may not have exposure to manufacturing. We consistently hear that people go into careers in the trades and manufacturing because of family connections. I became a steam fitter because my dad was a steam fitter, or I got involved in manufacturing because my mom was in manufacturing. In order to broaden the horizons of students, we need to connect them with these resources. One thing that's pretty exciting is that you might think of NSF as just a way to get funding for pieces of equipment like this. But the NSF programs can also support creating an ecosystem of programming. So when CCAC wanted to provide a no-cost lending library of advanced manufacturing equipment to schools in our areas, there are a number of logistical pieces that go along with that puzzle, right? How can you get equipment that's going to be rugged enough to survive being used by high school students a few weeks a semester? How can we handle transportation and insurance concerns of transporting this equipment to schools? What if something gets lost? What if something gets damaged? What if something gets stolen? How can we come up with programs for collaboration that involve our faculty that go well beyond college and high school? Are there ways we can integrate industry certifications and workforce development? Some of those questions aren't really the sexy topics in education, right? Compared to a lab of robots, right? We know they're important as educators, but they certainly don't get the sizzle from local news media. NSF programs can be a great way to tackle some of those logistical challenges. Using an external evaluator or a third-party resource who can help you study and analyze those programs are a great way to launch an initiative serve more students, and not learn lessons the hard way. I know if CCAC had to come up with our own method and system for transporting this equipment to high schools on our own, it would seem like an insurmountable task. But by using NSF resources and colleagues in the NSF network to facilitate that, we were able to get this program up and running in less than a year, and we've already served almost 100 high school students. So I'm here in CCAC's Center for Education, Innovation, and Training, our new state-of-the-art facility. And when most people see the room that I'm in, they honestly don't see any farther than a lab of very expensive equipment. And indeed, we're very proud of this apparatus behind me, CCAC's Cyber Physical Factory. It's a complete assembly line that allows students to take raw material, move it through a collaborative production environment, have a robot do automated machine tending, and store equipment and resources in the automated storage and retrieval system. The entire system is networked, so students get experience understanding how computers control manufacturing facilities of today, and even get experience with software and the Internet of Things. But the one thing that truly makes me sad as an educator is building a facility like this with this beautiful equipment and seeing it collect dust. And we've all seen examples of programs where maybe a college or university got just a little bit too far ahead of workforce demands, and they bought equipment that was underutilized or sat dormant for years to come. And one of the most exciting things that CCAC has done with our NSF partnerships was radically transform our engagement with industry. Historically, CCAC, like all community colleges in Pennsylvania, is required to hold an annual advisory board meeting for all of our career-oriented programs. These meetings are designed to make it so that our educators stay in alignment with industry through an annual meeting. But if you've ever attended these annual advisory board meetings, you know they can be slightly less than dynamic. So CCAC transformed this, and we've now adopted an approach called the Business and Industry Leadership Team, where instead of meeting with our advisory board once a year to share progress and exciting updates from the college, we ask our industry partners to come to the school 4 or 5 times a year for 1 to 2 hour working sessions. And this isn't just a breakfast where everyone eats croissants and pastries. It's a session where industry leaders, people who are hiring our graduates, sit down in a room and define the knowledge, skills, and abilities that they're looking for in the workforce. We then at the college will transform those knowledge, skills, and abilities into a framework for our curriculum to ensure that our program meets industry demands. This Cyber Physical Systems Factory is a product of the Business and Industry Leadership Team. Our employers demanded the specifications for this equipment, they outlined the industry certifications our students would receive, and they helped make it much less daunting for educators to spec out a lab like this, instead basing the designs on actual equipment that is installed in industry in the Pittsburgh area. As a result of moving to the Business and Industry Leadership Team, our graduation rates have increased by more than 15%. Over half of our students are involved in co-ops or apprenticeship programs while they're enrolled as CCAC students, and job placement rate is in excess of 90%, right? We always have some students who move away we can't count, but nearly every student ends up being employed because of this tight industry engagement. A problem we're facing is that our enrollment in the associate's degree program is suffering because so many students get a high-paying job in the one-year certificate program that they don't come back to finish their 2-year degree. But we're not really complaining about that. The point of that story is to say CCAC did not have the intellectual capital to think of this idea on our own, right? All of the greatest innovations in career and technical education come from a community of practice. And CCAC's collaboration with the National Science Foundation, CCAC's collaboration with the Center for Occupational Research and Development is what gave us the tools that we needed to implement the Business and Industry Leadership Team at our own school and see these transformative results. We were able to leverage NSF funding to get programs to expand that Business and Industry Leadership Team. So Pittsburgh now is the first region in the United States that actually has a regional team that has stakeholders from 5 local community colleges who are all collaborating to make sure our mechatronics program meets the needs of employers in the counties surrounding the greater Pittsburgh area. It's just one example of the kind of transformative impact that your college can see by working with the National Science Foundation. So I hope I was able to give a summary of some of the ways CCAC benefited from working with the National Science Foundation, and I just want to close by saying that we are ready and eager to collaborate with any one of you watching this webcast who's looking for a way to get started, who has questions, or just wants to talk with someone who's been there. We might not have all of the answers to everything that you're trying to do, but I'm sure we'll be able to connect you with a resource that's willing and happy to help. Thank you so much for letting me share some of the great work we're doing at CCAC, and I look forward to hearing from you in the future.